Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm JP Tong. I'm now at Kechara Forest Retreat, Malaysia, and welcome to today's Thursday Paranormal Tales. So, how is everyone doing? It's been a while, yeah, and I'm very excited to be sharing with all of you again tonight. So, we'll wait for a few more seconds for everyone to tune in. Okay? Let me see who's here. Hi, Cochran. Hi, David. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll wait for a few more seconds, yeah? Hi, Suzanne. Hi, thank you for tuning in. Hi, Dr. Hang. Good evening. Yeah, so we'll just wait and then I will start sharing. Actually, it's been 2 weeks already that I've not shared Zara Rinpoche's account that Rinpoche shared with me, so I'll do that immediately. Yeah, because it's been too many weeks already, so we shall do that. So how was everybody's week? Did you guys go back to work? Everyone is okay? Hello, salute. Hi, Baktku. Baktku. Hello, Baktku. Yeah, I've been in Kechara Forest Retreat all this while, so I've not really gone out, except to the police station to apply for my permits to go to the capital city, but I've not succeeded so far because they've been closed every time I go there, so I will try again tomorrow because I have some work to do. Hi, Celeste. Hi, Corinne. Thank you very much. Hi, good morning. Hi, Raoul. Thank you very much for tuning in. Okay, so I think we have quite a number of people here. So I will share with you Zara Rinpoche. Zara Rinpoche is one of my teacher's friends from the monastery. Zara Rinpoche resides in Canada, and Zara Rinpoche was very nice to have shared with me his encounter in Nepal. Okay, so I'm going to read this out so that I don't run out of time again and then I don't share this. All right, so this is what Zara Rinpoche says. I was on my way to Tibet using the road through Nepal, and I sitting on the left side in front of the car. My assistant Lotsam Tashi was also with me. There were 4 people in the car as we were driving. I saw an old woman. At first, I thought she was a poor homeless beggar. As our car got nearer to the lady, she turned around to face us. I got really scared. I realized that she was not a beggar lady, but something else. I saw that she has a dark blue face, long red tongue, red mouth, 4 long teeth, very big eyes, long hair, very large breasts, and was naked. She looks like an Indian goddess like Mahadevi or wrathful Mahakali. I was thinking to myself, who is that? And Rinpoche says that he realized that this was no ordinary lady, and when turned to have a look again, she was gone. Then I asked my assistant and everyone in the car if they saw the strange lady. They all said that they didn't see any lady. When I told them what I saw, they didn't believe me. I had this in my mind for a few weeks. When I reached the border, although I had a visa, I could not get past. I was very sad. After I got back, I kept thinking that I should have stopped to meet this lady. I still have this question in my mind about this lady till now. I told the story about how I could not go to Tibet, and Kapche Drupwang Ganchen Rinpoche and Ganchen Ladrang were very kind to give me a lot of help. I was really sad I couldn't go to Chatring, Tibet, my previous life's homeland. I also told this to my students in Singapore, Freddie and his friend. Freddie said not to worry and invited me to go to Singapore to make my visa for Tibet, China. At that time, I was very fortunate that Panglong Choje Oracle was taking trance of Dorje Shugden at Pagaling Monastery in Nepal. So I asked Dorje Shugden during the trance, which should I use to go to Tibet, from Nepal or Singapore? Dorje Shugden said not to worry. Now Dorje Shugden is an enlightened well, he's an enlightened being, and he's an emanation of the Buddha of wisdom, Manjushri. Okay, and he's a form of a protector. And this very famous is Tibet's renowned oracle who was taking trance of this particular protector called Dorje Shugden. So Dorje Shugden gave me some protector rites and then told to always keep protector and guru in mind. This is Rinpoche's guru. Protector advised me to always pray to protector and guru to remove obstacles. So I traveled to Singapore, and my student Freddie and his friend helped me apply for my China visa. Very fortunate that Freddie and his friend were there to guide me, and me and my assistant managed to go to Chatring, Tibet. When I was in Tibet, I was very fortunate to be able to meet my previous life's assistant, who was 82 years old at that time. This was my first trip to Tibet in this current life, and I got to meet my current life's parents. This was such a great opportunity. I really appreciate that the Spirit gave me this good sign not to go using the road through Nepal. I still have questions about who this lady's spirit is. I don't know who she is. We must pray and have compassion for spirits. We can pray that they don't disturb us. This happened 20 years ago. Okay, and I learned that there are some good I learned that there are some good spirits who will do good things for us. Places like Nepal, India, and Tibet are very holy pilgrimage places where there are many Mahasiddhas, yoginis, deities, and high lineage masters. This is known since the olden days. Today, there are many Dharma and retreat centers all over the world where there are many lamas and high lamas. Their great blessings make these pilgrimage places holy and highly blessed. We can see signs or auspicious signs at such places, especially if we have strong faith in our guru, deities, and protectors. When we see signs that can sometimes appear as a spirit, as ordinary people, we can't really judge or tell what it is. It could be an emanation of our guru, deity, or protector. No matter what, we need to have strong faith in our guru, deities, and protector, and we should also pray to appease these spirits. Okay, Zara Rinpoche is saying that it's not that we pray to these spirits, but we pray for them so that they are appeased. It is always helpful to look out for good signs like what I've experienced. After this lockdown, I hope that you can visit pilgrimage sites like Nepal, Tibet, and India, and who knows, you might see signs like this. You should pray faithfully to your guru, protector, and your deity so that they will show you good signs. Okay, and Zara Rinpoche said, this is my experience that I'd like to share with all of you. We need to keep up with our practices. We should never forget our guru's kindness, follow our guru's instructions and advice so that we are always connected to the Dharma and practice. So it was very, very nice of Zara Rinpoche. Thank you very much, Zara Rinpoche, for sharing with us your experience in Nepal. Yeah, so that was very interesting. So yeah, that was very interesting that Zara Rinpoche saw this lady and perhaps tried to tell Zara Rinpoche not to use the route from Nepal when he wanted to go to Tibet. Yeah, so that's very, very auspicious actually. Okay, do we have any questions so far? Hello, Wenjun. Wenjun is a young girl. She loves my paranormal sharings. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. So so that was our Rinpoche's experience, and I will talk to you about my experience. Okay. If you do have any comments, do ask me as I am sharing with you all.
There's a question from
Donnie. Okay, Donnie Teo. Do spirits have race? Just curious, meaning Chinese, Malay, Indian, and etc. Well, they will actually appear in front of us in a form that they're comfortable with. So most likely they would appear in a form that perhaps when they're in the human realm and they just pass away and they reincarnate in the spirit realm. So most likely they will take on that form. And usually when they take on that form, they will take on a younger version. I don't know why, but somehow they will take on a younger version of themselves when they were in the human realm. Yeah. So if they were, I have seen spirits who are Chinese. I have seen spirits who are Indian, and I have seen spirits that are just a silhouette, or just a ball, or just a cluster of, of just, what do you call it? It's like a mesh of energy. So they come in different size and forms and all that. Yeah. So there are many different types of spirits. So definitely yes, they do come in the race that they were when they were a human. So yes, they do that. Yep. And talk about Indian spirit. That just, yeah, I just remembered something. I used to operate my family business because we own budget hotels in Malaysia, and there was one incident where a young guy passed away in a hotel, and I found out when I woke up, and there was a commotion, and the ambulance was here, and apparently he overdosed on drugs. So then, and it was taken care of. I made sure that my team, cleaned up the place, and they did the prayers and whatnot. Because at that time I was not, I've not joined Kechara, so I don't know of any prayers to do. So I just told them, just do whatever prayers that you guys think would be good for that room. So we did that, and I didn't ask any questions about who this person was and all that. And I remember a day or two after that, because I used to live in the hotel, and I was woken up in the middle of the night, and every time when I wake up from very deep sleep and my eyes just open with no reason, I knew there was something there already. So, and immediately I saw an Indian boy. I think he was in his late teens or early 20s, just very, very young guy. And he was flying, and he was literally flying towards me. So can you imagine, I was just laying down in bed, and all I saw in front of me was like that. Literally, he was flying towards me and trying to strangle me. I think he was trying to scare me, because I just felt that I felt that he was trying to scare me, and I was very mad. So I punched him. I mean, that's a natural reflex. So I punched him, and he actually flew back a little bit, and he came towards me again. So I punched him again, and I used my comforter to just go like that to hit him. Then after that, he left, and I told him, if you want to get my attention, don't scare me, because I'm not scared. So that was before I, became Buddhist. I was a free thinker, and I was, what was I doing? I have not even started with any energy healing. So this was during the process where, I was just a free thinker, and once in a while I would have these kind of paranormal experiences. So I remember that very, very vividly. So then, out of curiosity, I asked my colleagues back then. I said, "Hey, what race was this young guy?" And they told me, "Oh, he's Indian." And I connected the dots together. So, and when I saw this young guy, my gut feeling, my instincts told me that it was that chap that passed away, just in the same building. And I just had to verify that, and true enough, it was that guy. So I think he was trying to get my attention, and I don't know for what. but I just didn't appreciate that he tried to scare me by pretending that he could strangle me, like this. So yeah, and for some reason I wasn't scared. I was just more mad than I was scared. So yeah, so the race thing actually reminded me of this Indian guy. Yeah, and I do see Chinese spirits, and they're all different. And I have been asked, my friends have asked me many times, so which is the most frightening spirit that you've seen? Actually, I'm very lucky because I've not seen any frightening ones, but it's just that there was one particular spirit that I was just totally terrified of. And if you're from Asia, or you have seen Asian ghost movies, they typically would show a Chinese girl with long hair, long face, very long and sharp face, very pale, wearing a white gown, and you can't see her legs. That's exactly what I saw. So it was not scary because she was just standing right next to my bed and just looking down, very sad. But because it reminded me of the movies that I used to watch, and that would be very freaky because of the suspense. So the thought of it was scary. So that was the only time that when I saw her next to me, I had to hide under my comforter, my duvet, my comforter. I had to hide there, and I had to calm myself down. And in my mind, I told her, this is my room. I've not done anything to hurt you, so please leave my room. And it was quite theatrical because I remembered, because I didn't hear any sound, nothing. And, I have my duvet, and I literally had to look out of my duvet like this, to look around to see if she was still there. That was the only time, touch wood, that I was that frightened. Yeah, so I remember that vividly. Yeah, so that was a Chinese lady. Okay, so do you have any more questions?
No, new one from Casey
Chong, where is this? Casey, hi JP. I woke up by my house bell rang in the middle of the night once in a blue moon. Check CCTV but nothing. Is there anything to worry about, or what can I do? Well, first of all, you can check your house bell to see whether or not there is, is it a wireless house bell? Perhaps there's some interference. Or what you can do is you can, like I say, douse your house with incense. Yeah, you can use sage. You can use juniper. We sell loose juniper incense in Kechara. You can find out online. We do that, and you go through every corner of your house and just let the incense burn, and douse your house. And I'm not sure if you're Buddhist. If you're Buddhist, you can do your Buddhist prayers and bless the house. Yeah, and you can do that especially near your doorbell. Yeah, do share with me whether or not that works. Yeah, but definitely just check whether or not it's an electrical problem, because sometimes it may just as well be an electrical problem that we're not aware of. Okay, I hope that helps. Yiman asks, hi Yiman, thank you very much for tuning in. In the previous session, you mentioned that you know how to differentiate whether your thoughts and emotions are of external beings or your own. Can you share on how exactly we can differentiate that? Okay. That takes practice, actually. It takes practice because when I was doing my energy healing, the energy healer taught me how to do meditation. So I learned that for healing purposes. And it was not that I had the intention to be able to differentiate whether or not it was my feelings or a spirit's feeling. But because I was meditating every day, so what I did was, the energy healer at that time told me, when I sense any spirits and I'm not sure what's happening, go into meditation, because there is a way. I would not recommend that if you're not trained. But what I did was I would go into meditation, Going to meditation is literally just sitting like this, calming your mind. How we did the single pointed meditation. So what I'll do is I would just calm the mind, and then I would close my eyes in this instance, and with my mind's eye I would scan the room. Okay, I would all scan around me, and something would appear. If there is something there, I would see it in my mind's eye. Okay, that's what I did. I would not recommend that you do that. Okay, because you will, if you're not careful, the spirit can actually feed into your energy because you're actually connecting to them. So I would not do that. Okay, so but I'll share with you how I can differentiate. So I would do that, and then from there, I would, because I scanned them and I could actually see them in my mind. Then when I scan them, usually I would be able to feel what they are feeling, and I would usually be able to, they would be able to communicate with me via thoughts, and I would be able to pick up what they're trying to tell me, and I'll be able to pick up their feelings, and that's how I could differentiate. Yeah, because otherwise, because all the feelings actually comes in thoughts, and then because they come in thoughts, and when you're not trained, when we don't meditate, you will be very confused. You're like, you will actually think, oh, why are these thoughts coming to me? And you would think, hey, why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling something? Why am I feeling this when nothing happened to trigger it, or something triggered it, but it doesn't warrant it to be so extreme? For example, you can be mad but not in a rage, for example. Yeah, you can be upset but not to the level that you're just in a total rage. So that's why it's so, for people like us who are very sensitive, we have to. My Buddhist teacher, Tenru Rinpoche, always told me, I have to be very careful, because if I allow my negative feelings to come up all the way, it's very dangerous, because there will be spirits who actually take advantage of that situation, and they will amplify it, because it becomes a portal for them to come through, and they will amplify it. And I said, yes, I have actually, I could relate to what Rinpoche said, and I said yes, because I have experienced that many, many times. Yeah, for me, it's not a rage; it's always a depression, because I used to suffer from depression. So, and I would be depressed every day. And Rinpoche said, I have to control my feelings and always focus out. So, for people like me, I have to be very careful. Yeah. So through meditation, you will be able to realize that emotion or the thought that passes, that you think is inside you, is actually outside. So this is the best that I can explain. But once you go through that process, you will know. Just like you will know when you're doing your work and there's somebody standing behind you, even though you can't see it, but you feel a strong presence that there's someone standing behind you, and you turn around and then there's somebody who's standing there. So it's that knowing. Okay, so I hope that helps, Yiman. Yeah, but again, I do not recommend that you close your eyes after our meditation sessions and you scan around your house, because when you do that, then you put out the intention that you want to connect with them, and when you do that, you create the karma, or in New Age terms, you create a portal for them to go through to and connect with you, and you do not want that, because as I say all the time, when you create the karma, or you open up that portal to the spirit realm, it's just like opening your main entrance of your house, and anybody can just come in and out freely. So if you're lucky, then the peaceful spirits will come through. If you're unlucky, there will be very evil ones that will come through, and we will not have the skills to protect ourselves. Yeah. So don't think that just by dowsing, or you're burning incense and having your chakras and all that, that would help. Most of the time they would help, but because if you keep having the intention to connect, to connect with them, that karma would actually be, it will be like a keyhole for them to actually, it's actually like a loophole whereby they can bypass all the protection and come through to you. So it's actually very dangerous. Hence, I said, do not play with tarot cards and do not play with Ouija boards or any type of games that we used to meddle with when we were younger to connect to to spirits or so-called angels. Even like divination using the pendulum to dowse, and you invoke on angels and all that. You see, there are many ways that New Age healers tell you to invoke certain holy beings and all that. But my question is this: how do we know whether or not what we're invoking is truly holy, or is it a spirit in disguise of a holy being? There's no way at our level we are able to verify that. So it is very dangerous. I hope that helps. Okay, Iman? Okay, so who else do we have here? Hi, Carmen. Thank you very much. Hi, Aunty. Thank you very much for tuning in with Carmen. Just wondering, and apologies if you've covered this before, it's okay, whether any spirits have tried to harm you before, and if they did, what did you do? Yes, they have. Before I joined Kechara, when I was doing this energy healing, and I did say this in the previous episodes, that they would, all of a sudden I would actually feel a dark energy coming towards me, and there's a hand that actually goes and grab my heart. So it's almost like a cramp, like an attack. And at that time, I thought I was having a heart attack, but it was actually what we call a psychic attack. So yeah, so I do get that. And also there were 2 times. No, there was once when they tried to possess me. It was a half possession when I was taking a shower. So I had that experience. And at that time, during the half possession, I already met Remedies. And I just joined maybe like a few months, and I was very new. I didn't know what Buddhism was all about. And Remedies did give me a picture of a Buddha, and it was Black Manjushri. Do I have it here? No, it's in my parents' house. And Remedies said when I do my New Age meditation, to actually meditate in front of this consecrated Buddha image, and this Buddha image will protect me. Yeah, it's not this one. It's another one. Yeah, you want me to show that? Oh, but I can't move. Okay, Pastor Jinai will show you what is Black Manjushri. I have another copy here, but it's not the one that Remedies gave me. Thank you. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can you guys see it? Is it clear? Okay, this is Black Manjushri. It is the Buddha of wisdom, but in a very wrathful emanation. Okay, this is very good for protection. Okay, thank you. So, yeah. So then, when I was experiencing that I was actually experiencing myself leaving my body, and I knew that there was a spirit latching onto me, and my fear factor kicked in. So in New Age healing, we are told that when the fear factor comes in, before your mind starts playing tricks on you and freaking you out, always trust that instinct, because that is an indication that the spirit is very harmful. It has evil intent. So I jumped out of the shower and I went to my desk with that consecrated picture of Black Manjushri, and I grabbed and I held it very tight to my chest, and I said, whatever it is that is trying to attack me, please get out. Okay, and I asked the Buddhas to, because I didn't know how to pray. I said, all the Buddhas in this universe, please protect me and get rid of this spirit that is trying to attack me. Okay, so that was one, and then the other one was when I was 2 weeks. And then a year after that, there was a spirit that will always go into my dreams, and that would always wake me up when I fall asleep, and he would do this throughout the whole night, and he did that for 2 weeks, and Rinpoche told me that it was called a half possession, whereby spirits will enter my dreams. They will actually enter my body, and then they will appear before me in my dreams. And Rinpoche said that if I don't stop my energy healing and always connecting with these spirits, it will eventually become a full possession. So a full possession is where we are totally not conscious, and the spirit will just take over the entire body and do whatever. Yeah. So if I didn't stop what I was doing, then it will eventually become a full possession. So Rinpoche did a ritual to bless my entire body and clear all my chakras and all my meridians using a ritual invoking the blessings of a tantric Buddha called Vajra Yogini. Yeah, and the ritual was called a Gakko. And Rinpoche would actually do that after that session. Rinpoche would call me, every few weeks to help me cleanse and cleanse my meridians and block all the 7 orifices. There are 7 orifices in our body that spirits can enter. So I did that, and from that day onwards, of course, Rinpoche told me to advise me to do some mantra recitation for protection. So I did that, and once I did that, immediately my disturbances stopped. Yeah. So I said all that in my previous episode. So and a lot more. Yeah, Carmen. So if you missed those sessions, you can watch them in this fan page. Okay. So yeah. So that's how I did. Sorry. Yeah. Just sharing a few nights ago. Okay, Cortland did some sharing. Celeste says, what if you want to connect with a particular spirit, such as a past loved one? I would not do that, Celeste, because if you do that, you're opening up a portal to the spirit realm. So your past loved ones not only can come through if it is truly them. Okay, there are certain spirits that would actually be in disguise of your loved ones. There are spirits and they will behave like your loved ones. They will speak and behave like your loved ones, and because of the clairvoyance, they can even remember. They can actually tell you things that happened with you, very intimate moments, perhaps. Yes, they can do that, and it's very dangerous. We do not want to connect to them because, in the Buddhist belief, they are born in the spirit realm. And we do not want that because they are always, and the reason why they're born in the spirit realm, one of the major reasons is because they are very attached to certain aspects of the human realm. Be it yourself, or be it any family member, or be it their house or their pet. Just something in the human realm that they are very attached to, and they cannot let go. So they are always going back to that person or that place over and over again for thousands of human lifetimes, and it is a suffering. Because why? Because they will see that all the family members whom they know have passed away, and they cannot help it, and they're stuck, and they feel stuck, and they feel very lonely. That's why if we will oftentimes see spirits wandering around, and they're just wandering around just aimlessly. And because they wander around aimlessly, they also encounter evil spirits that would attack them. So just imagine, it's just like if you're a homeless person and you're wandering around, there will be people who would actually burglarize you, just terrorize you on the streets. And it's the same experience. And imagine in the spirit realm, there are no walls. You cannot hide. You cannot protect yourselves because there are no walls. Spirits can just walk through walls. So it is even a lot scarier. And that's why we do not encourage them to stay in the spirit realm. We will actually do prayers and help them to let go so that they can reincarnate and come back in the human realm. Okay, come back in the human realm, and not just come back in the human realm, but be in a human realm whereby they are near their spiritual practice. They can continue with their spiritual practice, because only through spiritual practice do we actually, achieve or attain our salvation, the ultimate freedom. Yeah, so I would not do that. I'm sure we would all love to, but it will not serve us, and it will not serve your loved ones. It will not. I hope that helps. Bradley, do different spirits have different lifespans? Normal spirits, land deities, etc. Yes, they do. Just like human beings, they have different lifespans, and it's all based on their karma. And usually spirits will have a lifespan that will be in hundreds of human years, even thousands. Yeah, there are spirits that actually latch on to a person for many, many thousand lifetimes because of their attachment to this particular person. So there are people who are born who are born, and then there's this spirit just latching onto them and disturbing them again and again and again, and they don't know why. It's because of many previous lifetimes, and something happened, and that person would not let go. So that person reincarnates in the form of a spirit and will follow the person whom they're so attached to for thousands of lifetimes. Yes, that does happen. Yeah? Okay, Aaron, which place do spirits usually hang out? Do you see any ghosts or spirits when you go outside at night time or morning time? Can you see them anytime? Yes, you can see them all the time if you have the affinity. If you don't have the affinity, Aaron, don't worry, you will not see them. Okay, they do particularly like dark places, just very dark, like gloomy places. They like it because they don't get disturbed. That's their place of refuge. They like banana trees. Yeah, they like frangipani trees. They like this tree called with a white flower. What's that? It's a very nice fragrance. Nope. We have that in KFR. It's called Kananga. It's a white flower that they use for tantric practices, but it's very common in Asia. We have a few in KFR. They like that very much. But especially frangipani trees, they love it. They love to just hide there. Graveyards. You know why in graveyards? Because they cannot they are very attached to the body, so they always hang around the where they're buried. Even though to us the body has already disintegrated and whatnot and decayed, but in their spirit realm, what they will see is they will still see the body in the spirit realm, and they're very attached to it. Okay, so hospitals is because a lot of times they don't realize that they have passed away, or they went through so much trauma in the hospital. So and they keep replaying that in their mind. So they keep reliving that moment again and again and again. Yeah, it's actually it's actually a torture. Yes, champaka. That's it. Thank you, David. Wonderful. It is called champaka. I call it what? Kananga. It was a 3-syllable thing. Champaka. It's like a beautiful white flower that smells like jasmine, and it's very fragrant. They love that tree. Okay, so Caroline asks, how to pursue parents on this, as my mom has these experiences all the time. Which experiences are you referring to, Caroline? Can you please elaborate? Yiman, one more question about the holy monk who had protected you in one incident. Do you feel the presence of the monk at that time? Did you find out who was that holy monk? Oh, okay. Yes, I remembered sharing with you all that when I took refuge with my teacher, with my Buddhist teacher. Taking refuge in Buddhism is basically saying that I will, it is a ceremony that you take on vows of not killing. Just if you're a person with good morals, you will, it's like no killing, no sexual misconduct, no lying. It's pretty much easy. I mean, if you're a decent person, these vows are pretty easy. So it is going through that ceremony of saying that that you will learn Buddhism, that you will take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Sangha is the community of people who dedicate their entire lives to learning and practicing the Buddhist doctrine. Dharma is Buddha's teachings, and of course Buddha is Buddha. So when you take refuge, it means that you will subscribe and you will practice the Buddha's teachings. So I did that ceremony with my late teacher, and then after that, I said that I visited this friend of mine, whom I gave a protection talisman. I gave it to him because he was practicing magic. It was a local magic, not magic as in, the bunny out of the hat, but as in white magic, as in dabbling with shamanistic practices. And he was possessed, and I would hear that all the time. So I gave him a protector amulet or a talisman, and because of that, the spirit was very angry and followed me back to my home, and flew right as I entered my room. It just flew right through my windows, and my dogs outside my parents' house were just wailing away. Okay, so I knew that it was not my imagination. It was just whining and woo. You know how dogs are, woo, like that, and it was just going hysterical. And I just stood there, and yes, and at that time I did not feel the presence of a monk behind me. I was just focusing on the spirit because I knew that the spirit was very, very angry with me and just wanted to beat me up. I could feel it, but somehow it just stood there. So yeah, so I didn't feel a monk behind me or whatever, but I just didn't know what happened, and the spirit left. It was my friend who called me up the following day and said that, do you know that my spirit friend followed you back and wanted to beat you up? I said, I know, but I don't know why. I said, I don't know why. He did not. He just stood there. And the spirit said, told this friend of mine, it's because there was a holy monk protecting you. Okay, I don't know who this holy monk is. When I told my teacher, Ten Rinpoche said, yes, it's because you have taken refuge with the three jewels, which is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So I can only guess who the holy monk is. It can be my teacher, and it can also be my protector, Dorje Shugden. At that time, I was not given that practice at all. But at that time, even before that, Rinpoche already drew with his hand an image of Dorje Shugden, and I remember Rinpoche asking me, do you recognize this image? And for the life of me, being a virgin Buddhist, I was like, Satrap? It was another protector, or I said I just didn't know who it was. But now I know who it is. So I think it's either my teacher who's protecting me, or because my teacher is a holy monk, or it was Dorje Shugden, because Dorje Shugden will always appear as a holy monk, because he is a holy monk, Dorje Shugden. Yeah? So, yes, so, Yaman. Yeah, so Rinpoche did not verify, but I can only deduce that it can be these two. Okay, dreams. Caroline's dreams, and several times Black Shadow trying to feed her pill. She's wearing, feed her pills. She's wearing satrap. Well, what you can do is this. Caroline, you can ask your mom to recite Dorje Shugden. mantra every night before she sleeps, or even Setra. They're both just as good. Yeah, so I'll have Pastor Junai to type out the mantra for you, and you can do that. Ask your mom to focus on Dorje Shuden or Setra very strongly when she recites the mantra, and visualize Dorje Shuden or Setra in the size of a thumb. Okay, just in gold. Okay, and it's emitting gold light, and have the protector sit on top of her head, and then she's enveloped in this golden light. Okay, like an egg. Okay, and but it's translucent. It's glowing in golden light. Okay, and visualize that very strongly. Trust in the protectors very strongly, and just ask them for protection. And then she can just go to sleep. So she can do that prayer every night before she sleeps. All right, do that.
There was a previous question from Aaron, the difference between a spirit and a demon.
Aaron asked, "What's the difference between a spirit and a demon?" A spirit is a how would I say? It is a formless being, formless, Formless, formless being, like just a normal spirit. And a demon is where this spirit is so evil that all it does is hurt others, be it other spirits, animals, or even human beings. Okay, and they're just total evil. Those are demons. Okay, a spirit can be just our loved ones, or it can be just anybody who is lost or who's very attached, and they reincarnate, and they don't mean harm. They're just lost, and they're just in the spirit realm. Okay, and that's why we call them benevolent spirits. And then the malevolent ones, that are the evil ones, if they're extremely evil, we call them demons. Okay, and they do a lot of harm.
Question from
Bradley.
Spirits have different lifespans. Normal
Yes,
spirits.
I have answered that. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I will. I've answered that already.
No,
Oh.
13 minutes you have.
I have 13 minutes only.
Yes.
Oh wow, time flies. Okay, I will talk about. Let me see. Since we're talking about spirit disturbance, I'll talk about a spirit disturbance that was happening in front of me. One of my colleagues, I think it was just a few years ago, and he suffers from depression, and just a lot and it's just very, very dark and gloomy, and he refuses, and he finds it very difficult to get out of his depression, because I don't know why, but he just keeps revisiting and allowing his emotions or allowing situations to get to him, and he would not. And even though advice was given to him by my teacher, how to get out of it, for some reason he just would not follow. So, and because he has that karmic affinity to be possessed, and there's this particular spirit that has been possessing him for the longest time, and because he does not do what it takes to control his emotions, which Rinpoche says he can if he wanted to, but he chooses not to. Okay, you see, I'm not here to judge, but I'm just letting you know what happened. But you see, knowing him, he's a type that likes a lot of attention, so he actually plays on and allows his depression to affect him even further, even though he could control it, and so that he would just get everyone's attention. Yeah, I'm not judging, but that was how he was at that time. But because of that, it's very dangerous, because of his karmic affinity with a certain spirit that would actually enter him. So even though through years of advice, he didn't take the advice and do it all the way. So the disturbances, the possession became really, really bad. So I only heard about it. So one day, I was doing my work in the office, in Remedies' office, and he was just sitting across from me. And all of a sudden, he was crying. I didn't think twice because I didn't feel anything. So, I looked at him and he was going, and it was not him. It was as though it was like a little girl just like whining away. And he was saying like that. And I was like, oh, are you okay? And he ignored me. And he went, and then I knew something was, immediately my instincts told me something's not right. So I decided to do my prayers. Yeah, this was just a few years ago. So I had my prayers to do, and I did Dukar. Dukar again is here. So I did my Dukar prayers, the praise and the mantra. So as I was reading my prayers, he was going a bit hysterical, and he was just whining louder and louder and louder and louder, and he was like crying, almost to a verge of crying, but he was just whining away. And nothing that I could do actually stabilized him. So, and we were just outside at the living hall, and Rinpoche was just, 50 feet away in his room. So, and it was just getting really bad. And I asked one of our colleagues, to just inform Rinpoche that I feel that this person was possessed. So Rinpoche asked all of us to get ready, and then everybody stayed in the room, and then we escorted our dear colleague into Rinpoche's room. And as soon as he sat down, and Rinpoche was talking to our colleague with the spirit inside, and Rinpoche was just talking and giving a talk on how it is basically telling the spirit that he understands that the spirit is suffering, and that that the spirit wanted attention, and he was just going on, just basically telling the spirit that it doesn't serve her to be latching on to our colleague. And Rinpoche talked for, I think, quite 15, 20 minutes at least, and just talking and talking and talking and talking and reassuring. And then Rinpoche called out to our colleague's name, and calling him and calling him and calling him, and we could see that our colleague started to wake up. Yeah, he was waking up means that he was beginning to have more control of his body, because you could see him like there was like two people. It was almost like a split personality, that you could see the lady in him, and you could see him in him. It was strange, and I was totally awestruck, because there was no fancy ritual, to exercise the spirit, but it was more of using a lot of compassion and using logic to get the spirit to stop disturbing our friend. So, and Rinpoche had to assure our colleague, to come back, that we will always support him, and giving him a lot of assurance, which is what he, which is what he was very attached to. And so just giving him all that assurance, and then finally he woke up, and he felt very embarrassed because he knew what just happened. And Rinpoche said, "It's okay, you just have to remember the practice that I gave you, and remember how to make yourself more positive. Always focus on the positive, and keep doing that, and the spirit will not be able to will disturb you less, basically. So remember what I said." For people like us who have this strong karmic affinity with spirits, they will definitely feed on our negative emotions. Yeah. So because my colleague was very attached, or didn't put in enough effort to focus on the positive emotions, but would let his negative emotions come out, so that was very dangerous for him. Very, very dangerous. Yeah. So that was my other experience, seeing somebody becoming possessed. Yeah, and again, these things, if you have family members or whomever you know who is possessed, we should not meddle in them. You should definitely get professionals, okay, in whatever religion or whatever faith, and who has that experience to do it. Okay, for Buddhist practices, we actually go to the root cause of these experiences. Yeah, so instead of removing the spirit, we purify the person's karma to experience that that paranormal activity. So once we have purified that karma, any spirit that crosses our path will not be able to disturb us. Okay, so that is a difference, because there are many other ways of doing exorcism whereby they just extract the spirit with a lot of aggression and all that, and that's what we don't do. Because after you have removed that spirit, you have to realize, if you have that karma, another spirit will just walk past and go, oh, okay, let me disturb this person, because you have that karma. So that's why you always hear stories of people just incessantly going through exorcism, and it can be a different spirit all the time, or it can a different spirit or the same spirit if that person who is doing the exorcism isn't powerful enough to control that spirit. Okay, so it's a lot of work just to protect that person. So why not purify your karma? And then you can wander all over the place and nothing's going to disturb you. They can try, but it's not going to be effective. Yep.
Last question.
That's the last question.
How do demons come to be?
How do demons come to be? Christina, I don't know. I have not really studied how demons come to be, but I can imagine that, just like how humans. Because once upon a time, these spirits were once humans. And if you know how in the human realm, there's just some people who just are so, who are just pure evil. You know why? It's because they have been focusing on their selfishness so strongly, that empathy is no longer possible. Human empathy is no longer possible. And because they are so unhappy, all they know, their world is just about hurting others. There's no rhyme and reason for that, but it's because they have just conditioned themselves, and they've allowed themselves to go so deep into that way of thinking that is totally out of control. In Buddhism, we call it karma. Every time when you reinforce that action or that thought, it becomes stronger and stronger. It's like an imprint. It's like you feed it so much energy that you become like that. So it can work for you positively, or it can work for you negatively. So, like what everyone says, if you want to be successful, you have to embrace it, and you have to believe in it, and you feed it energy, and everything you do, it's about success. So you do things that successful people do, and so on and so forth. So you put yourself in that position. So if you do the other extreme, if you keep focusing on not letting go of people who have hurt you, and you refuse to let go, and you focus on revenge all the time, you can do that. But you see, that will lead you to further negativities. And after a few decades, you can become perhaps a sociopath. Yeah? Whereby, that's what do you call it? Mass murderers do. Because there's so much hurt in them, and the only way that they can let it out is through killing others. So when they pass away, they are and because they're so attached to always killing people and hurting people. I'm using something that's very extreme, yeah. So because of that, then when they take rebirth in the spirit realm, they become like that, and they will just keep repeating what they've been attached to in the human realm, and it becomes worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and I guess eventually they become demons eventually. Yeah, and all they can do is just hurt and hurt and hurt and hurt and hurt. Yeah, I hope that explains. Okay, I think that's pretty much time's up. So I have a few more to share, but time's up. So sorry about that. Okay, so I will do more sharing next week. I think that's it. Can karma be delayed? Karma can be delayed. I will talk about that next week. Karma is, it can be delayed using Buddhist methods. I'll share with you next week. Elsie says, I know of a supermarket in Singapore that attracts a lot of nasty customers to that particular outlet. How could be cause? What's the cause, you mean? No, but that is not a paranormal question. Elsie, I think you can ask that to Pastor Nirol and Pastor David, and they will give you a dharmic explanation on that. Okay, for my sessions, I only talk about paranormal activities. So sorry about that. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in again. So sorry, time flies. Yeah. Again, next week I will share with you 10 the more paranormal sharings, not more paranormal activities, and it will be 10 p.m. Malaysian time sharp. Okay, so have a great night, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.